11:17 p.m. A phone call lasted just 23 seconds. A young woman, whispering, barely able to breathe. "Someone is in my car." Static call drops. That was the last time anyone heard her voice. And what investigators discovered days later turned this from a missing person case into something far more disturbing. Her name was Riya Sharma, 24 years old, an architect, organized, careful, predictable. She wasn't reckless. She shared her location, she checked in, she followed routine. So when she didn't make it home that night, her family knew immediately something was wrong. It was a Tuesday, nothing unusual. She stayed late at work, finishing a presentation. At 10:42 p.m., CCTV captured her leaving the building. Soft footsteps, distant traffic. She walked alone to her car, unlocked it, got in. No signs of fear, no one following her. But the camera missed one thing. At 11:17 p.m., she made that call. But it wasn't a normal call. She didn't dial a number. She used voice command. And this is what her brother heard. "Hey, I'm driving, but I think someone's in the back seat." "What? Pull over! Where are you?" Riya, barely audible. "I can't." A sudden dull thud, silence. The call ended. The next morning, her car was found, parked on a quiet roadside, doors unlocked, no damage, no sign of a struggle. But something felt off. The driver's seat was slightly pushed forward, as if someone taller had been sitting behind her. Investigators went back to the CCTV footage, frame by frame, detail by detail, and then they saw him. A man briefly passing by her car. But not just passing. He slowed down, he looked inside, and then disappeared. After enhancing the footage, police identified him. A former co-worker. Someone who had developed an unhealthy fixation on Riya. He had tried to contact her multiple times. She ignored him. He didn't take it well. Police believe Ethan planned this. He accessed her car earlier that evening and hid in the back seat. When Riya got in, she had no idea she wasn't alone. But as she started driving, she sensed it. A movement, a presence, a breath that wasn't hers. That's when she made the call, quietly, carefully, hoping to get help without alerting him. But fear doesn't stay hidden forever. At some point, he spoke. "Riya, I just want to talk." That's when panic took over. She tried to react, maybe stop the car. But in that confined space, she didn't stand a chance. That sound on the call, that dull thud, that was the moment everything changed. Ethan fled the city the same night, but he left behind evidence. Fingerprints, fiber traces, and most importantly, that phone call. It proved she wasn't alone. It proved she was in danger. And eventually, it led police straight to him. He confessed, not to planning a murder, but to just wanting to talk. Riya was found days later. She didn't survive, but her voice did. That 23-second call became the reason this case was solved. But there was one detail that never did. Investigators went back to the call recording one last time. Not the voice, not the words, the background. Faint audio texture, subtle breathing or movement. They enhanced the audio, and what they found was a second voice, not Ethan's. A faint whisper, almost impossible to hear, but clear enough to raise one question. If Ethan was already in the back seat, then who was standing outside the car just before she got in? CCTV never showed a second person clearly. Ethan denied anyone else being involved, and yet, that voice was never identified. Sometimes, a case is closed on paper, but in reality, it never really ends. And sometimes, the only thing left behind is a voice asking for help that came just a little too late. If you were in her position, would you have done anything differently? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy real stories like this, subscribe, because the next one is even more unsettling.